Hello, everybody. This is Chris. Hi, guys. How are you? Let's see what's what. Let me share my screen as well so we can have some fun. Boom. There you go. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope you guys are having a great day. This is the voice chat thing for the 2nd of August 2020. My head is a bit cut off, but hopefully it's going to be fine. Are you guys hearing me well? Please let me know in the channel, in the general channel. So, overall, what we're going to do today is we're going to review a bunch of designs. We have quite a few of them, and we'll see what's what. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about some things. The Adobe XD course is going quite nicely. I have all my camera set up and everything behind me. You can see the monitor that I use to actually see myself and whatnot, some of the lights and whatnot. Yeah, basically my room is a mess. And what we're gonna do today is, again, we're gonna do some reviews, some web design stuff, and again, a little bit about the Adobe XD course. It's currently in production. I've started recording it, both the audio and the video. I have 2 lessons ready. 2 lessons out of probably 160, something like that. I'm not really sure what's the final number, but yeah, it is what it is. And I was thinking of actually starting another weekly contest. I'm thinking of making something interesting for you guys. I'm thinking about a weekly contest, probably, yeah, about 7 days, I think, every week or so, starting from Monday, and on Sunday, I can actually choose a winner. Probably based on some social media material, some Facebook ads, or some Instagram content, whether it's for my Photoshop courses or for my healthy meal company of us. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'll probably post a brief, and then based on that brief, you guys can create various things, various designs, and we'll choose the best one. Maybe we'll vote, maybe I'm gonna have the final say, we'll see. And then I'm thinking maybe we have a cash prize, maybe something, nothing all that major, $10, $15, $20, we'll see, depending on the project and whatnot. But I'm just thinking about a contest because I really want to get people involved. I really want to get people active. Because when I see all these designs that don't make any sense, all these compositing and skeletons and whatever that don't actually make sense in the real world, it makes me a bit sad, because I would much rather have you guys work on real projects for real companies based on briefs and whatnot, rather than doing GTA 5 whatever designs and whatnot. Not that there's anything wrong with GTA 5, obviously. So that's something we might do, weekly contests with a cash prize, PayPal or whatever. Yeah. So back to the design side of things. This is what we're gonna cover. We're gonna cover all these designs. Let's take them bit by bit. As always, if you have any questions, use the general channel so we can talk about that. Let me know if you can see my screen. Should be fine, should be crystal clear. Well, 720p, because that's all we can afford. But yeah, hopefully that's gonna be enough. Yeah, okay, so this is the first design. This is my first time seeing it, so it's gonna be totally off the top of my head. Initially, it looks pretty good. The width is fine, 1600, I think. The active area, as usual, 1130. That's a bit off. This is 1200. This is pretty cool. I don't like this thing right here. In general, when you make something like this, you either stop the rectangle at about here. So something like that would be the case for me. This is what I would like to see. Or you go all the way, right? You make it full width in terms of the active area, right? But you never actually stop, 90% of the way with whatever this is, 95% of the way. So I don't really like that. I think the logo needs a lot more breathing room here, at least the same space as we have here. Maybe a bit less, probably at least 30 pixels though. So what I would do is I would probably take this and move this down a bit. Yeah, probably 30 pixels would be best. Something like that. Okay. Obviously, there's not enough room here, but what I would do is obviously I would move this to the side like so, and shrink it, something like that. Okay, put a divided here. I'm not gonna do a full design because obviously we don't have the time for it. We'll spend 2 hours on this one and would still have loads of things to do. But yeah, this is how I would like to approach it. Very simple, very basic. And in the top right, I would probably place either social media or the get started button, contact us button with an address, whatever. This is wedding films, probably, yeah, something like that. I would probably put this information here in the top right side. Because again, if you don't know the area which is being serviced, this doesn't make any sense. Moving down, I think there's way too much caps lock. I think this is caps lock, the menu, basically everything is caps lock. Yep, just about everything is caps lock. Only these two text layers are not shown in uppercase. So this is way too much. I don't think this is a good fit. I like the fact that there's an overlay here, a black overlay that's about 20% opacity or so. But overall, I don't think this is a good website. I think it lacks call to action. And again, it's the problem is when you see such a website, you would think that okay, people are gonna click on the videos, they're gonna see the videos, and based on that, they're gonna contact me and they're gonna hire me. But there's no button, there's no call to action. This is why people need buttons. It's something incredibly simple, incredibly basic. People need a button that's clickable, that stands out, that you can click and you're taken somewhere, whether it's a form or whatever, but they need that. If you don't have a button, you at least need to have a phone number or an email address, though statistically speaking, email addresses don't work as well. The best thing that you can do is either a phone number or on the same place, on the same positioning, a get started button. That's usually, there's a field behind it. There's a form, behind it, not a field, a form. You click on it and you have whatever, your name, your phone, your email, and a message box or something like that. When you don't have that, it's not gonna work well. But if this is for the design, a design contest or whatever, no, even then, I would still love to see a call to action. Moving on down. Again, this is fairly basic. I don't really like this part right here. I'm not a big fan. The overlay here should be higher in opacity. Overall, I'm not sure this is going to work well when it's going to be coded. I don't think it's a good idea to place so many videos on the homepage. Okay, nice grid here, pretty good. I love this thing right here with the A being styled in a certain way. Good line height, pretty good here. Yeah, it's a decent website, and again, the footer. I really feel bad when footers aren't well executed because, again, in my courses, I don't really spend enough time on footers. So partly, I feel responsible for it. Again, all the footers, that are submitted in Review My Design, most of them are rushed because I rush them as well in the courses. So again, I feel partially responsible for it. The color is off, the contrast is off, this is not left aligned. Yeah, it's not a good look. It just seems thrown together. Yeah, I can't really say I love it. Just one thing, 516. Yeah, and this isn't even centered, right? So you can see this is one way to measure it. With the marquee tool, 516, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You hold the spacebar key and then you move it on the other side. Oh, is it? Oh, sorry. Yep. Okay. Is that again? Let's do that again. So 512 and yeah, there we go. So not centered, unfortunately. Okay, this is the hover state. This is the icon. Overall, yeah, I would say from 1 out of 10, I would probably say 5. Yeah, 5 at the most. 4.5. To be honest, 4.5. Let's move on. The next one. Oof. Ouch. That's... yeah. I don't think I'm gonna review this one, unfortunately. I don't think it's worth our time. I think if I ask you guys what's up in the general channel, I think you would have loads to say. This is not vertically centered. This is pure black. home for whatever reason is crossed out, which doesn't make any sense. This shadow, this is probably stolen from somewhere. I'm 95% sure that the designer didn't do this technique by himself. Yeah, 98% certain he stole it from someplace. He stole it. He borrowed it. He took the design from someplace. You understand what I mean? Okay. This doesn't make any sense for the construction company. This swoopy line, this playful shape doesn't make any sense. There's far too much yellow in it. The contrast is pretty good, not great. The buttons are really strange. Yeah, this looks like a template from Template Monster. If you're old enough, you probably know Template Monster. It's one of those early websites when back in the day when we didn't have Video Hive or Team Forest, actually Team Forest, because that's the one for the WordPress themes. We had Template Monster, and Template Monster had a distinctive look, and it was something that that was a staple of their designs. It was really sharp. All the fonts were really sharp. All the text layers were really small. It was exactly this look right here, so I wouldn't be surprised. This, oh, the shadow, I just noticed it. Wow. Okay, this is probably a 2.5 out of 10. There's a decent layout here. There's a decent grid and whatnot, but it's very dated. So overall, I think this initial design would rank significantly higher, you know, in a design contest or if a client reviewed it, simply because it looks more modern. And that's the case simply because it has loads of photos. So that's one way you can really cheat. Just use tons of photos, and that's usually that will increase your score. Let's move on. This top area is ridiculous. This should have been white. I'm not sure why it's beige. I'm not really happy with this amount of contrast. I think it could be much improved. Buttons that are completely squared on a feminine website. It's, again, you know, when advertising agencies create ads for men, we have blue, we have steel, we have black, we have sharp edges, we have powerful things, we have, you know, things called tornado and metal gun and whatever, you know, manly stuff, right? When you have something feminine, you use pink, you use lots of white, you use soothing tones and you know, swooping lines and whatever. So when you have a feminine design and you use square lines, it's a total mismatch. This is exactly the place where you have to max your corner radius. This is what you want to do here. This is where you want to use a peach pink or whatever. So this is the type of thing where such a button is goes hand in hand. I'm really not sure why the designer left it as it is. And again, it doesn't really stand out. Sure, it's wide enough. It is wide. You can see, you know, you can see it because obviously it occupies quite a lot of space. It's what, 400 pixels or whatever. But yeah, overall, it should stand out more. There's a secondary headline here, which probably means something like whatever, relaxation and hypnosis, whatever. But that should probably be here, or they should be here. I'm not really sure why we have something like this. Again, yeah, it's the same thing, Beratung and hypnosis. So yeah, it's basically the same thing over and over. It's not a good look. This one right here, the headline looks like it's Leto or something like that. Basically Ariel, right? Or the Boto. Extremely basic. Doesn't make any sense. That's something that's, you know, totally wasted, a wasted opportunity. Let's see, this is pretty good. I quite like this layout, but without the stroke. The stroke has no place being here. It looks like a mistake, not an actual design element. I'm not sure about this part though. I'm not really sure if this makes sense. I understand that the designer probably wanted to occupy the space a bit better, the 1200 pixel active area. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one. A bit too much text here that isn't, unfortunately, formatted. You need some empty space. Come on, we have what, 12 rows of text here. You need to break it up, at least at the minimum 2 paragraphs. So quite unfortunate. This is one of the places where, again, a handwritten font would have been fantastic. Because again, when it's something like a soft science, something, regarding personal development and whatnot, and it's something where, Chris is the main focus, right? I'm not a business, I'm not whatever linda.com, I'm Chris Barron, I'm a person. This is the place where you should really use a handwritten font. So again, this is a really missed opportunity. The website has to feel personal. You have to create a connection between, the visitor and the actual person that's doing the teaching, or whatever this is, hypnosis. So that relationship is essential. So what you have to do is, obviously, you have to make sure that you show the actual person that's doing the teaching or whatever, and that person has to be relatable. You have to see it in many forms, in many photos, and if possible, using a handwritten font really makes it really takes the point across. I'm not really a big fan of this shadow. I think it should have been much softer. The grid is decent, but again, way too much caps lock. I'm not sure where this trend came from, but all this caps, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not really sure what. Yeah, and again, it's not even a good font. It's as basic as it gets. Uh, let's count the number of call to action styles. We have one right here. We have the second one here, and we have the third one here. So this overall is way too much. 3 calls to action, 3 different calls to action. That's not a good one. That's not a good look. You should have 2 at the most. One filled button and one outlined, one next to each other. That's it. You don't have start now that's filled and then start now with an outline a bit underneath. You don't do that. You don't create a variation just for design purposes. Consistency is above all else. So if you choose whatever, the orange as the main rectangle, you use orange throughout. If you can't use orange because the background doesn't provide enough contrast, or it looks too busy, then that background needs changing. Then it means that your color scheme isn't well thought enough, right? I think it's one of the most basic things. Again, the contrast here for the link, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think this is well thought out. And again, you know what? I think this grid, this part right here with the photo overlapping, I think, this is a fairly modern design technique. But if you look at Team Forest or whatever, any mainstream website that sells templates and whatnot, this type of thing is used for the architecture. Architecture. For the buildings. This is used for the buildings, right? For whatever reason, this style with square edges and overlapped images, this works best on more professional, more cold businesses, concrete, hard stuff, design stuff related to buildings. At least that's how I've seen it used on many websites. By the way, just as a side note, at the minimum, per week, you should browse various design galleries. You should see at least 50 complete, brand new, totally new website designs. So just so you can see what's out there, just hit up any design gallery. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Behance or Dribble or whatever, and just browse around and see what's what, right? I think it's an absolute must. Okay, let's move on. Okay, finally the pricing table. The pricing table is so far down. Have a look here. So look at how much you have to scroll until you actually get the prices. Do you think this website is gonna sell? Do you think it's gonna convert well? The answer is clearly no. Especially if you've seen Master Web Design and Photoshop, you totally know what I mean. This is not a good position for the pricing table. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, but it does look pretty good. I'll give you that. It's nothing all that complicated. It's a lot of squares, which again, most men would appreciate. If this was a construction website, for example, that would have been great. A corporate website about machine learning or whatever, this would have been great. But a woman in 30, 35 years old that teaches hypnosis and whatever, I highly doubt she's gonna appreciate this look. But that's just me. That's a gamble, obviously. Recent blog post. This is pretty good. And contact. Yeah. I'm not in love with it. I'd say probably about 5 or 6 out of 10, something like that. This is a pretty good image, but it's not all that memorable. I think the designer, first and foremost, again, he got inspired from a place where the business was totally different, that required sharp, strong edges, well-defined edges. He saw the color scheme that the client asked for, and he went with it. It really didn't matter what else, the client asked for. He just went for the color scheme. Quite a shame. Now, this is a variation. From what I understand, this is the winning design. This is why I placed the label here, winner. Let's see what's what. I should point out a disclaimer. It's something very obvious. Just, again, why do I have the freelancing course and then master web design in Photoshop? They're both about web design, right? It's one thing to create a beautiful website that performs well, that has great conversion rates. It's another one to fool a client, to please a client and make him select you as the winner. These are two completely different things. Making the client happy and you winning some money, and actually making a great website that performs well in terms of analytics, right? So two different things. So let me just get that out of the way, because in one sense, this could actually be a worse design than the previous one. This one might be better, right, than the winner. So don't be surprised. This is all part of the game. Let's have a quick look-see. The photo is absolutely terrible. This one, again, it seems like probably the client asked for it. It doesn't make any sense. There's no call to action here. This doesn't seem like a booking thing. That means, okay, I don't know any German, but I'm pretty sure that's not a call to action. Even if it is a call to action, you can barely see it. And imagine, if you were to guess, is this for people in the age of 20 to 25? Hypnosis and whatever this is, psychology? What's the target audience? Very young people, 18 to 25? No, probably 40 to 60, right? At the minimum, I think the entry would be about 40, right? So then, older people, do they generally see well? No, they don't. So this is where contrast plays a vital role. This is where you have to make sure that your calls to action are extremely bright. They stand out tremendously. This button does not. And it's small for my taste. And what about the menu? Wow. Man, this is a really bad design. This is why I get so excited when some of my students say, "Hey Chris, can I win design competitions?" Totally. Look at what this is, a winning design. It's totally rubbish. It's terrible. Anyway, let's focus on it. So again, this is Arial. This is a very basic font that can easily be improved. The main menu is, again, really small, not suited for the target audience. It should be much bigger. It should be better defined. I do prefer a rectangle, or at least at the minimum a divider, something like that. This is the very minimum. Obviously, it would have to be 1 pixel. The call to action is pretty okay in the top right side, but it should stand out more. The logo should be left aligned. This right here should actually be moved. This should be actually moved here. This is a major improvement. Just do it like that. Let's see what else. Way too much text, doesn't make any sense. A different call to action in terms of the actual label. This is contact. This is whatever else. This does nothing for me. The active area is actually not sorted. So I'm gonna base. Okay, this again. If you're thinking that you're not good enough to win design competitions, man. So this designer didn't even set a guide, right? He didn't even set a guide. What the hell are we talking about? Now, I know that you may say, okay, Chris, only you care about these things. But it's not the case. You see, the client, if she goes to a coder, she's really gonna feel ripped off. This is not a well-executed design. This is a design that's filled with various mistakes in terms of UI, in terms of UX, that's overall not gonna perform well, even if it does get coded. Let's move on. Quite disappointing on one hand. On the other hand, it's really making me want to participate in more design competitions, because it would be so easy for most of you guys to win by just following Master Web Design in Photoshop and watching the freelancing course. If you then apply what I say, again, you have a major advantage. And I'm not selling you anything because you already bought the courses, so it doesn't make any sense. But I truly mean it. You know, when you see the level of competition being so low, it's, please guys, participate in more design contests. Okay, let's see what else. Again, way too much caps lock. I do appreciate the gradient here at the bottom, but yeah, not all that great. This part right here, just, man, just the bare minimum, you know, just the bare minimum. Could you do less? Could you possibly do less? I mean, we do have a different symbol right here. You know, it could have been just a simple rounded dot, but you know, the designer did use a different dot, so you have to give him or her that. Man, this is so extremely basic. And this part right here, you never do something like that. You never create rectangles. So sections, basically each section has to be a certain height, at least 500 to 600 pixels, depending on the resolution and whatnot, right? So you have these chunks, and these chunks really work well when, again, you have enough breathing room. So you have them like this, right? You have one part right here and another part right here. You have a very light gray or a very light blue or a very light brown, okay, here, and then white really pops underneath, right? This is the most basic layout that you can do, and it still works well. It's a design technique in terms of UI that works wonders. It works really great, right? But the key is to give enough breathing room for each section. So it has to be like that. If you make them like this and you insert another one in between, it looks messy. It looks noisy. It looks like you're drawing way too many dividers, way too many lines. It's not a good look. This thing right here, it's, man, I really feel for this client, because this, whatever. Okay, here's another part which doesn't really do anything, just really quick. Okay, so this part right here, get started, should be something like this. Okay, so now you can see this is like a belt, and this, the call to action stands out so much. So this is what the designer actually wanted to make. He wanted to make another call to action area, but again, look at how I did it. We have white at the top, white at the bottom, and in between we have a belt, exactly like you have on, well, I don't have a belt right now because I'm actually in shorts. I'm not in my underwear though. These are shorts. But yeah, a belt just ties it all together, right? And a belt can be a different color, you know, depending on what you used upstairs and downstairs. It's such a simple design technique, you know. Again, I think, do I have another one? Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, I have another one here, but it doesn't. It's not a divider. And look here. Look at the two sections, right? We have light blue at the top and then white, and then the difference between them. Even though that blue is so light, it really makes it stand out. It makes it look elegant. And again, if you want to do something for the woman, or a target audience is mostly women, what you do is, instead of blue, you use a very light peach pink. Peach pink is best. So it's a no-brainer. Let's continue though. So this doesn't do anything. This is whatever. How many pixels? 650 of wasted space that does nothing. You have to realize, let me see if I have Hotjar opened. Hotjar. The more you go down, the less people actually manage to get to that point. So basically what you have to do is you have to concentrate as much information as possible in the top part. Let me see if I can show you a heat map real quick. Yeah, there you go. This is my Healthy Meal website, right? And we go on scroll, and what do we see? This is the initial part. That's obviously everybody's gonna see it, right? This is the average fold. And then as we go down, it gets colder. The colder it gets, this means that less people actually manage to get here. So as you can see, only a small amount of people actually get here to the Q&A system. But the Q&A isn't all that important, right? But if there's a pricing table underneath and it's really cold, then that means people aren't seeing your prices. So it's really all that simple. It's one thing to actually create websites that actually perform well and make money for the client. It's another thing to win design competitions. But no matter what you do, no matter what you want, this design still sucks. This design is still horrible, right? So I will give you the footer. The footer looks pretty good. I think I like the footer. It's pretty nice. It's elegant. It's dainty. I think it's a good one. Okay, we're just about out of time. Let's do another one. Another one. DJ Khaled. Let's see. Wow. Damn. I mean, again, this is whatever 480, right? I just showed you the heat map that as you go down, fewer and fewer people scroll down, right? What do you think is gonna happen here? Do you think this is a good use of space? How about this one? So just 1 second. So overall we have 1400 pixels where there's absolutely nothing. There's no USP. Why should you buy it? Why should you book this psychologist, whatever this person is? Why? Helping you transform your life, whatever. This isn't a unique selling point. This is very short. I highly doubt it's something really worthwhile. So again, it's like whatever, sneaker. That's it. But even in a sneaker, you actually get to see the sneaker, and maybe the design is a selling point. Whatever. It's Photoshop courses. Imagine that. Imagine seeing, going on my website and seeing Photoshop course. Learn Photoshop to get better at it. Man, the level of competition is so low. I'm not trying to be a jerk, by the way. I'm really not. I know I may come across as harsh, especially if the designers who actually created these versions are watching. I'm really sorry that's not the case. But again, it's one of those things where I'm constantly getting messages from people. Unfortunately, I'm getting private messages, which I really hate. And they're asking, hey, Chris, do you think I'm ready? I'm not really sure if I should participate in design contests. My man, go do it. Go do it. You're more than ready if you've seen my 2 courses and you've managed to follow the rules in terms of pixel perfect execution and understanding the client's needs. Man, you have to do it. Okay, so it seems like the client probably provided the wireframe. So this is why we have several designs who are using the same template. Well, actually, I think this might be another version. This may be another version of the... Yeah, okay, so this band right here, this is better executed. I would still not use a white button if it's a major call to action. It can look elegant, it may work, but I don't think in general it's a good practice. I don't think it's something you should use. Yeah. Please let me know if you have any comments in the general chat, because I'm about to wrap it up. Yeah, overall, this is not a good design, and the winning design is not much better, unfortunately. They're all pretty bad. Yeah, they're all pretty bad. This being the worst out of them. But yeah. Is this the best one out of all of them? Probably, maybe, possibly. Let's see if we have any comments in the general chat. Let's see. King. He has 2 websites. I don't have enough time right now. I'm sorry, I can't review them. Let's see what else. DJ Khaled, yeah, okay. What's the difference? Domain versus hosting. That's something that's not design related. I'm not gonna get into that because it's something completely different. This is what the client wanted. That's no excuse. I mean, really, again, what you have to realize is, if you want to make money, you have to please the client, right? That's one of the ways to go about it, right? But on the other hand, you have to make sure that you realize that you're not making designs for your portfolio. Because if you're just trying to win design competitions and you're just trying to please the client, you're not going to be able to use those designs in your portfolio. So whoever did this design, for example, even if it's not the winner, you're not going to be able to use it. Okay, you followed what the client wanted, but if you've been following along week by week, this is actually a bi-weekly thing, you know that I actually spoke about, the two strategies, either going all out aggressive and not really caring about what the brief says, or trying to please the contest holder and just basically being strung along, stringed along, being taken along a long journey, being, I'm not really sure how to put it. Basically, you design whatever the hell the client wants, and you don't get a good string along, but it's stringed with an ed at the end. It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. We have more websites to review. We have 3 websites in total. The client is gonna string you along. That's yeah. I think that's it. Thank you so much for actually helping me out. Thank you. Next time we're gonna review probably these 3 websites if nothing else is gonna come up. Thank you. This has been fun. Again, hopefully I haven't broken any spirits. I haven't upset anyone. Hopefully. But yeah, next time we're gonna do more design reviews and we're gonna talk about this or that, and hopefully we're gonna do some design competitions in the Discord server. Again, it's probably gonna be 7 days. It's probably gonna be a cash prize. Nothing major, $10, $15, $20. It's gonna be something that I plan on using for my businesses. And yeah, it's gonna be something fairly simple, like again, creating whatever creating something like, for example, this thing. Okay, so something like that. This is something that I would expect, right? Fairly basic, not all that complicated, right? And you do it, you create it, you post it in the chat, and then we're gonna vote on it. We're gonna see which one is better, and I'm gonna award you some money for the trouble. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. That's it. I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do some recording, and then I'm gonna edit it, and then I'm gonna sleep. That's basically it. Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you so much. Goodbye for now. That's it for the moment.